Hey there, fellow travelers. Tonight we're going to step away from the familiar world of electric lights and busy streets and journey back through time to one of history's most legendary routes. So settle in, get comfortable, and let me know in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is for you. It's always fascinating to see how this ancient story connects people across the modern world. Dim the lights if you can. Maybe let a gentle fan hum in the background and allow yourself to drift backward through the centuries to a time when the world was vast and mysterious, and courage was measured not in moments, but in months of patient travel across impossible distances. Picture this. You're standing on a windswept ridge in what we now call Central Asia, watching the sun sink toward the western horizon like a golden coin dropped into an endless ocean of sand. The year could be 750 CE, during the height of the Tang dynasty, or perhaps 1275, when young Marco Polo first gazed upon these same dunes with wonder-struck eyes. Time moves differently here, flowing like sand through an hourglass, and tonight, we become part of a story that has unfolded countless times across more than 2 millennia. Below you, emerging from the heat shimmer of the late afternoon desert, a caravan winds its way across the ancient Silk Road. The sight is timeless, almost mythical. A line of heavily laden camels moving with the patient rhythm of creatures born for endurance, their bells chiming softly with each swaying step. Behind them, beside them, walking in the blessed shade of their enormous bodies, come the travelers. Men from distant lands bound together by commerce, curiosity, and the shared understanding that in these vast spaces, survival depends on trust and mutual care. The heat of the day is finally beginning to relent. For hours, the sun has been a merciless forge, turning the desert into a furnace that tests every living thing. But now, as the great golden orb settles lower in the sky, the air grows gentle. A soft breeze stirs, carrying with it the promise of relief and the faint, mineral scent of cooling stone. This is the Silk Road, though no single road it ever was. Rather, it's a network of paths, trails, and ancient highways that stretch like arteries across the heart of Asia, connecting the jade gates of China to the marble columns of distant Rome. For over 2,000 years, these routes have carried more than just goods. They've carried dreams, stories, innovations, and the endless human desire to see what lies beyond the next horizon. The landscape here is both harsh and beautiful, unforgiving yet somehow sacred. Endless waves of sand stretch to every compass point, broken only by the occasional weathered outcropping of stone or the dark line of distant mountains. The dunes shift and change with each season, each storm, so that the desert is never quite the same twice. Yet despite its apparent emptiness, this is a place where life persists. Hardy grasses cling to existence in the lee of rocks. Tamarisk bushes send deep roots searching for hidden water, and along the ancient routes, worn smooth by countless feet, caravans continue their eternal dance of departure and arrival. Our travelers have been walking since before dawn, covering perhaps 15 or 20 miles since their last rest. Their faces show the weariness of the road, but also something deeper. The quiet satisfaction of another day survived, another day closer to their various destinations. These are not desperate refugees or fleeing armies. These are merchants, scholars, and craftsmen who have chosen to risk the desert's challenges in pursuit of profit, knowledge, or simply the irresistible call of distant places. As the sun continues its descent, painting the sky in shades of amber and rose, the caravan master raises his weathered hand. The signal passes down the line like a whisper. It's time to stop. Time to transform this empty stretch of sand into something that For one night at least, will feel like home. The spot they've chosen is perfect for their purposes. A natural depression between two gentle dunes provides shelter from the wind, while the firm, packed sand offers solid footing for their temporary camp. Perhaps an ancient stone marker stands nearby, a weathered pillar left by some long-forgotten emperor, its inscriptions worn smooth by centuries of sand-laden winds. These markers serve as both guideposts and reminders. Countless others have passed this way before, found shelter here, and continued safely on their journeys. As the first camel kneels with a satisfied grunt, the evening ritual begins. This is a choreography perfected over generations, each movement economical and purposeful. There's no wasted effort here, no unnecessary words. Everyone knows their role in the ancient dance of making camp, and there's a deep comfort in that knowledge. The lead bell camel settles onto the sand with the weary grace of a creature who has carried civilization on her back for thousands of miles. One by one, the others follow her example, folding their impossibly long legs beneath them, with groans of relief that seem almost human. The sound of their bells grows softer, then stops altogether as harnesses are loosened, and the day's burdens lifted away. All around our temporary home, the desert is beginning its own transformation. The harsh, bleaching light of day softens into something warmer, more forgiving. Colors that disappeared in the noon sun begin to emerge. The subtle purples and browns of weathered stone, the silver green of hardy desert plants, the warm gold of sand that still holds the day's heat like a blessing. In the growing quiet, other sounds become apparent. The whisper of wind through distant rocks, the far-off call of a night bird beginning its evening hunt, the gentle rustling as small desert creatures emerge from their daytime hiding places to begin their own ancient routines. This is not the silence of emptiness, but the profound quiet of a world settling into evening peace. Above, the sky is beginning its own magnificent display. What started as gold and amber deepens to orange, then to rose, then to the deep purple that signals the approach of true night. The first stars appear, faint at first, then growing stronger as the sky darkens. Venus hangs low on the horizon, bright enough to cast shadows, the evening star that has guided travelers since humans first learned to look up and dream of distant places. Tonight, something magical is about to happen. These men from different worlds, speaking different languages, following different gods, are about to create something that transcends all those differences. They're about to build a circle of light and warmth and human companionship in the heart of one of Earth's most challenging landscapes. They're about to prove once again that the things that unite us are stronger than the things that divide us. So breathe deeply, let your shoulders relax, and prepare to join them. Tonight, under stars that have watched over travelers for millennia, we're going to experience what it truly means to find rest and safety in the fellowship of the road. Tonight, we become part of the endless story of human courage, curiosity, and the eternal search for connection across the vast distances that separate us. The desert is calling, the stars are gathering, and our adventure is just beginning. The transformation from day to night in the desert happens with a swiftness that never fails to amaze first-time travelers. One moment, the sun hangs suspended above the western dunes like a brass medallion, and the next, it touches the horizon and begins to sink with surprising speed. As if drawn by some cosmic magnet, it disappears behind the sandy waves, leaving behind a sky painted in colors that seem too vivid to be real. Our caravan has chosen its stopping place well. The natural depression between the dunes provides shelter from the evening winds that are just beginning to stir, while the clear view of the sky in all directions allows for easy navigation by the stars. The sand here is firmer than the loose, shifting surface they've been crossing all day, packed down by previous caravans and perhaps by the occasional desert storm that channels rainwater through this ancient roadway. The temperature, which only an hour ago was punishing in its intensity, begins its nightly descent toward comfort. Desert air, so dry it seems to drink moisture from your lungs during the day, becomes a cool blessing as the sun's fire dims. Each breath is like drinking from a clean, cold spring after hours of thirst. The travelers can feel their bodies relaxing, their shoulders dropping, their pace slowing from the urgent efficiency of day travel to the more measured rhythms of evening preparation. The lead camel, a magnificent beast whose bell has marked their progress for weeks, seems to sense the change even before her human companions do. Her pace slows, her head turns left and right as she evaluates the landscape with the wisdom of an animal born for this life. When she finally kneels, it's with the decisive grace of a creature who knows exactly where she belongs. The bronze bell around her neck chimes one final time, then falls silent as she settles onto the cooling sand. Behind her, the other camels follow suit in a carefully orchestrated sequence. Each animal waits for the one ahead to find its resting place before settling its own considerable bulk onto the ground. The sounds they make, deep groans, satisfied sighs, the occasional snort of pleasure, seem remarkably human. These creatures have carried precious cargo across some of the world's most challenging terrain, and they've earned their rest. The men move among the animals with practiced efficiency, but there's no hurry in their movements now. The desperate urgency of desert travel, the constant awareness that every minute of daylight is precious, every hour of cool morning air a gift not to be wasted, has given way to something more peaceful. Evening in the desert has its own rhythm, slower and more contemplative than the relentless push of day travel. Bundles and packs are lifted carefully from the camels' backs. Each item represents weeks or months of careful planning. Bolts of silk wrapped in oiled leather to protect them from sand and moisture. Sealed clay jars containing spices that could buy a house in the right market. Carefully padded packages of porcelain so delicate it seems made of crystallized moonlight. These goods are the reason for the journey, but they're treated with a reverence that goes beyond mere commerce. They represent trust, hope, and the dream of prosperity that drives men to risk everything on the uncertain promise of distant markets. As the last camel is unloaded, the animals are hobbled with soft ropes that allow them to move about freely while preventing them from wandering far in the night. It's a system perfected over centuries based on the understanding that these creatures are partners, not merely tools. Their welfare is essential to everyone's survival, and they're treated with the respect due to fellow travelers who share the hardships and dangers of the road. The sky above continues its spectacular transformation. The deep gold of sunset has given way to orange, then to rose, then to a purple so rich it seems to have weight and texture. Against this magnificent backdrop, the first stars begin to appear, tentatively at first, like shy children peering around a doorway. Then with growing confidence as the light fades and their true brilliance emerges. Venus, the evening star, hangs low on the western horizon like a beacon of hope. In different cultures, she goes by different names. The Chinese call her Tai-Bai. The Arabs know her as Al-Zuhra. But to travelers of every nation, she represents the same thing: guidance, beauty, and the promise that even in the vast darkness, there are lights to show the way. The air grows cooler by degrees, not the sudden plunge that might catch an unprepared traveler off guard, but a gradual, gentle transition that allows the body to adjust. What was harsh and punishing 2 hours ago becomes comfortable, then pleasant, then positively welcoming. The breeze that begins to stir carries with it the subtle sense of the desert evening, dust and dried grass, the musk of the animals, and something else, something clean and mineral that speaks of vast spaces and ancient stone. Around the chosen campsite, the travelers begin to arrange their temporary home. Years of experience have taught them exactly how to create comfort and security in this harsh environment. The most valuable goods are placed in the center, where they can be watched and protected. Personal belongings, sleeping rolls, cooking utensils, the small, precious items that connect each man to his distant home, are arranged in a rough circle around the central area. The camels, meanwhile, arrange themselves according to their own ancient wisdom. The older, more experienced animals position themselves upwind, where their keen senses can detect any approaching danger. The younger ones cluster near the center, instinctively seeking the protection of their elders. It's a formation that speaks of intelligence and social organization that goes far deeper than mere animal instinct. As the light continues to fade, the sounds of the camp change and soften. The sharp crack of leather being unbuckled gives way to the softer rustle of blankets being unrolled. The business-like efficiency of unloading transforms into the more leisurely pace of settling in for the night. Voices that were clipped and urgent during the day become conversational, even companionable. Someone, it might be any of them, for this is a shared responsibility, begins gathering fuel for the evening fire. In this sparse landscape, that means dried grass, the occasional piece of dried wood, and yes, dried camel dung. The latter might seem unappetizing to modern sensibilities, but it burns clean and hot, providing excellent fuel for cooking and warmth. It's just one of the many ways that desert travelers learn to find resources where none seem to exist. The first sparks fly from flint and steel, caught lovingly in a bundle of dry grass and nursed into flame with the patience of men who understand that fire means survival. The tiny blaze grows slowly, fed carefully with increasingly substantial fuel until it becomes a respectable campfire, its light dancing on tired faces and casting warm circles of illumination into the gathering darkness. As full night approaches, the temperature continues its gentle decline. What was scorching heat 12 hours ago becomes perfect sleeping weather. The air is crisp without being cold, dry without being harsh. Each breath fills the lungs with clean desert air that tastes of space and starlight and the vast freedom of open country. The fire, now burning steadily, becomes the heart of their temporary home. Its light pushes back the darkness, creating a circle of warmth and safety in the midst of the vast unknown. But more than that, it serves as a gathering point, a focus for the evening's activities, a symbol of the human ability to create comfort and community wherever we find ourselves. Above them, the sky has become a masterpiece of deep blue velvet studded with diamonds. The Milky Way, invisible during the day and barely noticeable even in most inhabited places, stretches across the heavens like a river of light. To the Chinese, it's the Silver River, where the weaver girl and the cowherd meet once a year. To the Arabs, it's the backbone of the night. But to all travelers, it represents the same thing: the magnificent, overwhelming beauty of creation and humanity's place within it. The desert night is settling around them now like a comfortable blanket. The harsh, unforgiving landscape of day has transformed into something almost magical. Dunes that seemed threatening in the blazing sun now look gentle and protective in the starlight. The vast emptiness that could feel overwhelming during the heat of the day now feels peaceful, even welcoming. This is the moment every desert traveler lives for, the point where the day's struggles give way to evening's peace, where the harsh demands of survival soften into the quiet pleasures of rest and companionship. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, new miles to cover, new tests of endurance and will. But tonight belongs to rest, to the simple pleasure of being alive and safe in one of the world's most beautiful and challenging places. The caravan has found its peace for another day, and the eternal rhythm of the Silk Road continues, as it has for over 2,000 years, as it will for as long as humans dream of distant places and have the courage to seek them out. With the fire now crackling steadily at the heart of their camp, the transformation from empty desert to cozy home truly begins. The flames dance upward, painting shifting patterns of gold and orange on the weathered faces gathered around them, and casting long shadows that stretch and sway across the surrounding sand like living things. This fire isn't just a source of light and warmth. It's the beating heart of civilization itself, the ancient technology that allowed humans to push beyond the comfortable boundaries of daylight and claim the night as their own. The flames provide more than comfort. They provide security. In the vast darkness of the desert night, this circle of light becomes a fortress of safety, a beacon that says, here humanity has made its stand. The fire's glow reaches perhaps 30 feet in all directions, creating a room with walls of light, a temporary home bounded not by stone or wood, but by the reach of human ingenuity and the warmth of burning fuel. Around this central hearth, the work of making camp continues with the smooth efficiency of long practice. Each man knows his role in this ancient dance, tasks divided not by rigid assignment, but by the natural flow of cooperation that develops among people whose lives depend on each other. There's something deeply satisfying in watching this choreography unfold. The way one traveler anticipates another's needs, the way tools and materials appear exactly when and where they're required, the way individual efforts blend seamlessly into collective success.